Well, is it going to be a spooky, scary offseason for the Houston Astros, or will we be surprised with treats of free agents? We're going to talk about who might be out the door and who might be appearing. Let's get going right now.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. He is Brett Chancey, and we hope that you make us your first listen, whether it's on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and make us your first listen. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you can get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. So go ahead and help us get to 16,000 subscribers. Between Brett and I, we have over 18 years of podcasting experience, and I know it's probably going to be a spooky offseason, but we will be there to help you through the haunted house, the maze, whatever jumps out of the shadows this offseason. We will be here to walk you through it, no matter how scary, how much enjoyment it brings you. That's what we're going to be here for on the Locked On Astros podcast. So we wanted to kind of play off the Halloween theme. And no, we're not doing anything like Michael Myers or anything like that, or jump scares like Five Nights at Freddy's. But we wanted to kind of just go off of what could be scary about the offseason. So definitely we'll be talking about who could the Astros be potentially losing, free agents that the Astros could possibly jump at, and could the Astros be trading your favorite or least favorite ghoul over this offseason. So these are all some of the topics that we'll be talking about. But Brett, you know what is literally scary? The fact that the Astros right now have a totally full 40-man roster. So even if they wanted to add a free agent, there's no spot to put them.
Yeah, that's the thing. And so that's when we get into the non-tender victims and who is on this roster that the Astros just don't really have room for, that it doesn't seem to be a future for. And maybe if they're non-tender, it gives them opportunities, Eric, in other places, because I think they're all capable names of performing on somebody else's roster, but maybe their welcome is just a little worn out.
Hey, Brett, before you get too far, I want to kind of play off this trick or treat. So let's say the trick is kind of scary and the treat is something that we're looking forward to. Okay, so go ahead.
All right. So what you have is the most likely non-tendered candidates. And I don't think any of these names like bother anybody. Chas McCormick, Taylor Tramell, and Luis Garcia. Luis Garcia simply going into a second, Tommy John surgery is just, to me, he's kind of a non-starter. And these guys right here, all three of them, I think make sense because you've got to make room for a roster that needs to be bolstered. And although Taylor Tramell is serviceable at times, you can fill his spot with somebody else. Chas McCormick, I think, has seen his day here, and I think his time has passed. As much as Chas McCormick contributed in the 2022 season and helped the Astros win a World Series, and we saw when Chas McCormick was at his best, he's just been not at his best more so often than not. And plus, we saw this last year, even with all the injuries, he's still he should have got more playing time, but he didn't. And so I think the Astros got to move on from this guy because Chas McCormick, I think, does deserve a shot on somebody's roster in the major leagues, and I think he can play somewhere. But these three guys, I think, Eric, are more than likely gone.
All right, so go off of this trick or treat. I'm going to say that Taylor Tramell, losing him, not necessarily, I think it's going to be more in the middle. But I would think that it would be more of a trick if the Astros lose him, because I think he is left-handed. The Astros seem to rely on him a lot last year. I know he's more of a fifth outfielder type of guy. He is 28 years old. He's not going to be your superstar, but the Astros seem to rely a lot on him. So I think that, yes, he only batted 197, 3 home runs, but they seem to like his defense and what he offered out there when he was out there. So I would say that the Astros are likely going to keep him. I think your treat, which has McCormick being non-tendered, I think that's likely going to be happen. I know the big boy pants, they don't fit him anymore. I think that it's time for the Astros to move on. They have, not only do they have younger options, but you have players that you might need to add to the 40-man roster at some point. So I just think that his time has come and gone. And like you said, if he doesn't fit with the Astros, I think elsewhere. So the only way I see the Astros not non-tendering Luis Garcia is if they somehow work out not a big mega deal extension, but if they go ahead and try to do an extension, because if they like him that much. But I'm going to say, hey, he's had 2 Tommy John surgeries in 3 years. Yeah. Don't see that them having a lot of interest in bringing him back, right? So I'm going to go ahead and say that's a treat. If I hate to say it, because when the Astros needed starting pitching in 2020, he came and he answered the bell.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, all these guys have played a role, have been there, but I think 2026, you're not going to deal with the injuries. I don't think they need him as the 5th outfielder. Taylor Tramell.
You better get a witch's hex bag out, because you just jinxed them. Don't say that. That they won't deal with as many injuries. I know this was a record level of injuries, but still.
Thank you. The law of averages.
Knock on wood or something.
Okay, negative Nancy.
No, it's Halloween. We're just playing on all the superstitions and everything.
I know. Well, but I am not superstitious. I'm a little stitious, like Michael Scott said. But seriously, there's no way this team repeats the amount of injuries they had last year. It's just it's too much of an anomaly the way it happened. And I think this roster is going to have a lot of new names on it, where that's not something they're going to have to worry about. They're going to put guys in optimal positions. They're going to get a new strength and conditioning coach or whoever. Hopefully just revamp the med staff like they're doing the hitting coaches. But at the end of the day, Eric, it's really all about roster construction going into this next season and what is the most optimal lineup going forward. I think they might not bring back Jesus Sanchez. Jesus Sanchez is a guy that they could not bring back as well. McTaggart didn't mention him out of he's not like non-tender necessarily candidate, but
he still has value, I would think.
He has value. He has value, but he's got to give more. He's got to bring more than he did in 2025.
Hey, Brett, we'll talk about trade candidates in a second, but while we have kind of a lull right here, I do want to talk about some of the breaking news that happened today. I don't think it's scary. We'll have to see, but according to Brian McTaggart, he says that the Astros are promoting Connor Huff to the role of assistant general manager, replacing Andrew Ball. Huff was the club's VP of business and baseball operations. Okay. So, like you said, I believe you said yesterday's podcast or a podcast before that the Astros are just trying to stir things up and try to change things up. And so maybe Huff will be able to change the thinking around Dana Brown, and not necessarily Dana Brown. I think he's kind of the boss, but everybody around Dana Brown. So whether it's more emphasis on the farm system, whatever it takes, or maybe how to make better trades. And we'll go ahead and before we get to the free agents, because you got to have some roster space to trade for free agents, let's go ahead and go off what you're talking about, the the trading your least or your most favorite ghoul this offseason. So, guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day.
All right, everybody, it's H.M. Wellhouse, and this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a great game, and I just set up my Thursday night football picks. I'm excited about it between the Miami Dolphins and the Baltimore Ravens. Whether it's the NFL, NBA, or both, you can jump in. It doesn't matter when. Right now is the right time. If you haven't tried it, I encourage you to. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere Prize Picks operates, including California, right here in Texas, and Georgia. I've been using Prize Picks during the NFL season, using it a little bit during NBA tip-offs. I like picking my favorite players. I like going for Jackson sometimes. I like going for Tua. I like going for the players that aren't necessarily Texans, and you can pick more or less of just about any category, whether it's 3-pointers for Alperen Şengün or it's block shots for KD. You can line up all these players, different sports, different types of stats right now by downloading the Prize Picks app and use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. It's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go and subscribe to us and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, go and check us out. So right now we're talking about things to be scared about during the offseason because sometimes you're worried about losing your favorite player. I know last year a lot of fans were worried about the fact that they lost Kyle Tucker, and then last year Alex Bregman. There's always that possibility that you're going to lose one of your favorite players. And I guess we can come out and say it. I'm sure a lot of people will be relieved to see Framber Valdez exit stage left. But at the same time,
You'll be relieved?
Well, the fact that a lot of people have lost their faith in Framber Valdez.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
No, for me, I don't think the Astros have a shot in bringing him back, but I think I would rather have Framber Valdez on this team versus losing him and not getting anybody else.
Well,
so the trade, before we get to the trades, I want to hear your thoughts about losing Framber Valdez, because that really scares me, because you have Hunter Brown and the Pips.
Well, yeah. Someone says trade trade fodder. I thought he said trade Framber. Yeah, look, it sucks losing Framber. Can we remove the graphic, please? Thank you. It really stinks losing him because of the durability factor. I mean, there's not a whole lot of pitchers that can last and go as long as this guy can throughout an entire season and be stellar. Now, we know from beginning to end, every season he hasn't been that guy. But when he's on his stretches, when he is locked in, the dude is a force, and it would absolutely suck to have to face him in a scenario where maybe you're fighting for a division title. I mean, someone like Framber, the Mariners would be stupid not to look at Framber Valdez. You know, the Mariners have a great pitching staff, but can you imagine adding him to that pitching staff? I mean, there are teams that would probably add this guy in a heartbeat. I mean, the Yankees would be stupid not to look at him. The Red Sox would be really stupid not to look at him. I mean, this is a guy that's going to give you innings. And I think the one thing that keeps me thinking that he may possibly come back is that he doesn't garner the salary that he wants. And maybe the Astros offer him a qualifying offer and they can maybe talk him into one more year with the team. But after this year, I think that went out the window. I think if they had gone to the playoffs, had gone to maybe the ALCS, maybe you could bring him back. But I think Framber's gone.
I'm going to disagree with you on that. I think that some team's going to look at Framber Valdez and be like, look, Yankees, I can fix Framber Valdez. We've seen him perform against the Yankees in the past.
Maybe the Pirates.
Who knows? Yeah, because Murphy went over there.
That's where Murphy went, and they got Paul Skeens. I mean,
But Murphy also saw the good and bad with Framber Valdez. They're gonna be like, so what do you think about bringing Framber Valdez over there? He's gonna be like, well, when he's on,
He's
yes,
kind of a
it's a
nutcase.
treat.
No.
When he's off, yeah, it's a trick, so to speak. But I think some teams are literally gonna say, hey, we know exactly how to fix Framber Valdez, whether it's doing A, B, or C, and they're gonna have some type of framework to fix this guy because he has a dynamic arm. It's not his arm, it's up here. And once he fixes what's up there, he'll probably be one of the most dominating pitchers in the game, like Mike Trout once said.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, man, at the end of the day, the question is not where does Framber go? The question for the Astros is who do you replace him with?
Yeah.
And how do you replace him? We had Jason Alexander on the show. Yeah. We talked to Jason Alexander, but he's not that guy. Hunter Brown is the lead guy. Christian Javier, what's he going to do? But you cannot replace that really at this point.
Hey, we'll talk about trades in a little bit. I think that's kind of where you're going there, but free agents, but let's talk about what you kind of hinted at the last segment. What players could the Astros trade away? And I know that Jesus Sanchez is a guy that the Astros traded for last year when they're desperate for any type of offense. Their offense was scary. It was disastrous. It was 6 feet under. They needed something to help dig their way out, and they almost got back to the playoffs, but it wasn't because of Sanchez. So he still has trade value, even despite the bad season. So it's not going to be a lot, but they're not going to just non-tender him. They're going to probably try to get not a bucket of balls, but they can get something for him, maybe a low-level minor leaguer. Urías is somebody that they could also trade away because they don't really need him anymore, especially with the logjam at second base if you're going to put Paredes over there. So what are your thoughts? Who else do you think the Astros could trade away?
Well, I think if you look at Mr. J. Ray's comments here, he's hitting it right down the middle of the fairway with this comment. Sanchez, Urías, and Dubon all sign and trade candidates. If no market for trades, non-tender Sanchez and one of Dubon or Urías, I will keep one of the two. And then Ken says it. He goes, I'm holding my breath on Mauricio and Jake. Either one of those being traded would break my heart. Those are guys. Look, we just spoke with Dubon. We had him here on the show, and if y'all weren't able to check out the interview, please go check that out. It was phenomenal. He shared with us insights that he hadn't shared with anything else. We got that exclusive. But he's got value, Eric. He's up for a second Gold Glove. Urías has value. The problem is we have a logjam. We have a lot of guys that do the same thing. And the guys that are starting in those positions that are there with other guys that do the same thing just do it better than the guys that aren't starting. So that's a good problem to have. You're probably going to have to include a Miguel Uola, who you talked about protecting in the Rule 5 draft last night. You're going to have to look at trading a blue ball or an Arrighetti if you want to trade. I think where the Astros hit the home run here this year is I think it's in free agents. I don't know. I don't think that you really have value to trade. And I'm not trading major league guys for minor league guys. I'm just not doing it.
Sanchez or Urías, you can trade for just to rebuild the farm system, but you're not going to get top flight talent.
Yeah. But then again, are you going to make better use of them, having them around and using them versus trading them for a guy that probably won't ever touch the majors? You know what I'm saying? That's where the value's almost marginal on these guys. Okay. That's literally because I'm trying to think of what their value is. It's not high, but it's not tanked. It's just kind of marginal.
Okay, Brett, can I ask you a question real quick? Hold up both hands real quick. Just on top of your head, how many players do you think the Astros need to add this offseason to make them a World Series, a playoff contender?
10. Well, I hold both hands. I'll just hold up one hand. I don't know. I think they need to add 2 pitchers and another left-handed bat. I think they need. I think they need 2 starting pitchers. I think they need a relief pitcher, and I think they need another left-handed bat.
2 or 3 relievers, because you can't go through a whole season like the Astros did, where you're basically just pulling up what was his name, Nick Hernandez, the whole time.
Yeah,
basically, you need to have quality bullpen arms, and that's something that they haven't had. So, guys, we'll go and continue this conversation. Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go and subscribe to us. Go and make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and subscribe to us.
Well, Dorothy wants to add 30 players. That's actually 4 over the roster number. But hey, you know what? We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about FanDuel. You're America's #1 sports book, and the NBA is back. There's no better place to get in the action with FanDuel than with the official sports betting partner of the National Basketball Association. Even if you miss the start of the game, you want to ride that hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. Just make sure you're not playing on one of the teams. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making a late push. So right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA, unless you're Shohei Ohtani.
Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe to us. Help us get to 16,000 subscribers. We just need you to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, and hopefully we'll reach that number within before the year clocks clicks to 2026. But I know it's really scary what the Astros have to do. I know the last offseason was scary, doing something that was out of their comfort zone by trading Kyle Tucker, but they're probably going to have to do something out of their comfort zone. And whether that's going after a big time free agent, maybe having go past that 5-year deal that they've been wanting to do, maybe they don't go after a free agent. Maybe they decide, hey, everything's fine. That meme where you have the guy sitting, sipping tea while the house is on fire. Maybe they're like, this is fine. Who knows?
Well, no. And I think that, Dana Brown has made it known that they're looking at someone like Dylan Cease. They're looking at someone like a Ranger Suarez. Something I do want to say, a comment I do want to attach myself to here. He says, Ken Stark says there are a few sports reporters and podcasters that have labeled Framber as a head case and that the Astros don't need another Trevor Bauer in the clubhouse. Not sure if I agree with that. He's not Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer and Framber Valdez, 2 different dilemmas. Trevor Bauer, clubhouse cancer. Framber Valdez has a mental breakdown on the mound because the pressure gets to him. Not the same thing. So that's apples and oranges. So whatever sports reporters or podcasters are saying that, sorry, horrible take on their part. I've had my own horrible takes, but that's a really bad take. Swing and a miss on that. Strike 3, you're out. But right now, I think the Astros are ripe with the opportunity to go out and they've got to get another pitcher, Eric. They can't ignore it. I don't think they let Caratini walk. He is a free agent, but I think they're going to bring Caratini back. Dana Brown has talked about wanting to bring him back, and it just makes too much sense to bring him back. He doubles well with Yainer Diaz. He does well with the left-handed bat. He does well at first base. He can also DH, and you're not going to find a guy his price point, and he's not going to garner a massive salary. He might get a little bit of a raise, but let's be honest. He's not a full-time catcher. He's a backup catcher. He's not a starter, so he's not going to get starter money, and he plays best when he's relied upon in different situations throughout the season. So free agency, I think, will be good for the Astros. People aren't going to rave about it, but they've got to go out and get somebody because they can't rely on the arms that are in-house or just hope one of the AAA guys does a Trey Savage type move. Do you see that game last night? Trey Savage, the youngest pitcher in Major League history to have double-digit strikeouts in 2 postseason games, 12. I mean, the dude can shove, man. I mean, the Blue Jays are 1 game away from defeating the Dodgers, who are supposed to win the next 10 World Series in a row.
What's crazy, I don't know if you saw that picture, but it was, you know how NBA, when somebody dunks on somebody, it's posterized. Well,
right.
He posterized Shohei Ohtani when he swung and missed, and his helmet came off Jake Marisnick or Jake Myers style, where the helmet just came off, and he's on one knee, and then you have Savage just walking off the mound like a baller, and it's just a perfect image, and it's just a great representation of what the Blue Jays are doing, even without George Springer hitting, and that's impressive. I know that he's been dealing with some injuries, but I think that the Astros, the scariest thing about this whole offseason is possibly losing Victor Caratini. I've made no secrets about that. I think that he's a big part of this clubhouse. Like you said, the ability to not only be the backup catcher. We don't know if Diaz is going to possibly get hurt at some point. You always need to have a quality backup. I know Walker Yannick could be ready at some point, but you want that quality backup. Victor Caratini could easily be a everyday player again. So he could sign a deal somewhere else to be a full-time catcher again. But he hasn't done that in 3 years or so. But I still think that he came here to Houston to go back to the playoffs, to go to the World Series. And so I think that's his goal. So I think that he'll probably end up re-signing. I know Dana Brown has made it publicly known that he wants to bring him back. And so the question is, Dylan Cease, is this a guy that we keep on hearing the name? We've heard him for the last couple of trade deadlines. We've heard his name right now. Even when he was with the White Sox, we heard his name keep on coming up. So is Dylan Cease really that guy that the Astros gonna say, here's all our bones? What would it take to get you to come pitch in Houston? Did he have the best season last year? No. Is that going to get him to come on discounted rate? No. Everybody knows what he's capable of. So Dylan Cease, his name keeps on coming up. Do you buy or sell that, Brett?
I don't know if I buy that the Astros make him an offer. I don't know if I can buy the idea of him coming to Houston. I think it depends on what other moves they make. I think it depends on what their roster looks like. And, is that the Christmas miracle that, Jim Crane pulls out of his
holiday,
hat?
Brett.
Well, I'm just saying, whatever, when you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, they got Christmas stuff out. They got Christmas stuff out almost the same time Halloween stuff. Like next, it's going to be like Valentine's Day. It's crazy, right? But see, here's the thing. J. Ray makes a point. He said, you don't have to dump all the money on Cease. Look at Savage. Yeah, but Savage came on late. Savage hasn't pitched all year. Savage is a guy that rose up 5 leagues in one season, and he is an anomaly. You're not going to go out and find a Trey Savage out there next year. No other team's going to find Savage. It's just not going to happen. He is rare. We want White Sox Dylan Cease, not Padres Dylan Cease. Well, you still have one of the 2 pitching coaches. I talked about it. Another coach has left, and with Murphy out, more than likely
he's already joined the Mets, by the way. Murphy has already joined the Mets.
He went to the Pirates.
Oh, Pirates. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Who went to the Mets?
I don't know who went to the Mets, but yeah, he went to. That was the Mets was Snicker. Yeah, Snicker went to the Mets. So, look, I mean, they're gonna need to get another pitching coach. Can their guys get in the room with Dylan Cease's guys and make a viable pitch? I mean, look, Hunter Brown, Christian Javier. We're looking at bringing other guys in. I don't know why you couldn't do that. But I think he's realistic. I think Ranger Suarez may not garner as much as Dylan Cease, so he may be a little bit more realistic. But, you know, and remember, Dylan Cease didn't really want to come here in the first place. So has he changed his mind? Does the Astros missing the playoffs make them a less desirable target? There may still be enough here. When you hear guys like Christian Walker, you hear guys like Jason Alexander talk about the clubhouse and Dubon talk about the clubhouse. You know, it's one that really has been hard to replicate. And they're just going to have to retool and revamp in several areas. I'm excited to see what the young guys do. We talked about the AFL guys, the guys at the Arizona Fall League. So I think the future is brighter than what most people would project. But right now we're looking at 2026, and I think you're going to have several new teams, several new names in the team store to buy jerseys from, and several guys that are going to be on sale because they either got non-tendered or they're just not here anymore.
Yeah, so it's going to be a interesting offseason. If you thought last season offseason was interesting, I think this one's going to be a little bit more. I mean, losing Tucker was hard, but I think the Astros are trying to figure out their identity right now. They're having a Fight Club type moment where they're just trying to figure out what type of organization are they going to be. Are they going to continue to try to go on winning? If you continue to go on their winning ways, you're going to have to trade away more prospects. You're going to have to try to get better because the Astros just can't compete free agent wise like other teams can. So they're going to have to just decide which direction they're going to go. And yes, maybe some of their young pitchers come up and impress, but it's just, you can't always bank on that. You can't bank on injured players to come back. You can't bank on all that, but you can bank on Eric and Brett being here all off season on the Locked On Astros podcast. Go and make us your first listen and have a happy Halloween. Go ahead and go out trick-or-treating with your kids and go and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, go and check us out.
Go Stros.